Kepler's law. Okay, so we are going to discuss about what beta? Kepler's law. Okay, so there are three Kepler's law. First law is what? Law of orbits. Means every planet rotates about sun in an elliptical orbit, right? So now about ellipse, you already know many things from mathematics, and we'll discuss few things about it. Now suppose there is an ellipse. So we know there is a semi-major axis, say A, and semi-minor axis B, right beta? And what we have two foci on the ellipse, F1 and F2, right? Okay. So now every planet revolve around sun in an elliptical orbit with sun placed at one of the foci, right? So suppose sun is here, then during its revolution here, the minimum distance from sun, suppose here is sun, the minimum distance of the planet from sun, that is known as what beta? Perigee distance, or this point you can call perigee. Okay, so that is perigee point. Okay, and the farthest point is known as what? Apogee. So that is apogee point, perigee, apogee. Okay, now this distance you can call perigee distance, and similarly this length that you can call what? Apogee distance. Okay, beta? Now by the ellipse property, what is this distance from center to this one of the focus? So that distance is what? That is A into E. Okay, so in mathematics you are going to prove it. And yesterday one relation already I discussed with you, that what is the relation between B and A. So what is the relation between B and A beta?
B square is equal to A square into 1 minus A square into 1 minus
A square 1 minus E square. Okay. Now that is what? Semi-minor axis point. From here to focus, what will be distance then? That is very important beta. In the numericals, you are going to use this distance. Tell me what is this distance from focus to end point of semi-minor axis. What is this distance?
A square plus B square.
Okay, just try to calculate beta. Yes, this distance will be A. Okay, so because this is what? AE, that is B. So B square plus AE whole square. So what you are going to get? You are going to get A square. Okay, so if you just rearrange it, B square is equal to A square plus AE whole square. So then, so taking this side, B square plus AE whole square is equal to what beta? A square, right? So now very small things are there in the first you can say law, and those small things are very important even for solving many complex problems, right? So first of all, as I discussed yesterday also, what about linear momentum of the planet? Is not conserved. And what about angular momentum about sun? That is conserved. Okay, what about work done by gravitational force on a planet in one complete revolution? In one complete revolution, work done? Zero, right? Because gravitational force is a conservative force beta, right? It is conservative, and also it is what? A state function. So it only depends on initial and final position. It does not depend on path. So does not depend on path means what beta? Non-conservative. Yes or no? Does not depend on path means what? Non-conservative or conservative? Conservative. Yes or no? Okay. So gravitational force is a conservative force. So in one complete revolution, work done has to be what? Zero. Okay. Now tell me one more thing. Suppose a planet is moving from perigee to apogee. A planet is moving from perigee to apogee. What about work done by gravitational force? Will it be positive, negative, or zero? Work done by gravitational force in moving from perigee to apogee. Tell me. Yes, any idea? Negative. Why, bete?
So when it is so where gravity force is inverse, but the displacement is in this direction.
Okay. So gravitational force is changing the direction continuously, right? Now, if you are considering this sun and planet as one system, right? So work done by gravitational force is basically what? An internal force. Work done by an internal force, and work done by internal force is what? Change in potential energy of the system. Now potential energy formula already you know, it is what? G m1 m2 by r, because it will act like point mass, right? As this distance always is much greater than the radius of planet or sun, so we can consider the motion of planet and sun just like a point masses, motion of point masses. So here potential energy is what? G m1 m2 by rp. So that distance is less, means magnitude is more, means overall potential energy is less. And here distance is increasing, it means potential energy magnitude is less. Since it is a negative thing, so potential energy is increasing in comparison to P. So here potential energy is more, it means kinetic energy is less. Kinetic energy is what, beta? Less. So kinetic energy is decreasing, it means work done by gravity is what? Negative. Right, beta? So it means if a planet is nearer to the sun, then potential energy is what, beta? Potential energy is less, minimum, right? So a planet is nearest, potential energy is minimum, and kinetic energy is maximum. And if a planet is farthest from what? Sun, so it means its kinetic energy is minimum, right? So at perigee position, velocity is what? Maximum. So perigee is a point where velocity is maximum, you can say, right? Apogee is a point where velocity is minimum, right? So at apogee point, this velocity is what? Minimum. So this Vp, you can write Vp means V max, Va means V minimum, right? Understood, beta? Now one more beautiful property is there based on these geometries. Now Rp and Rp you know. So what is Rp? Perigee distance. Perigee distance is A minus AE. Yes or no, beta? Perigee distance is what? A minus AE. So this length is AE. And what about apogee distance? Apogee distance is what? A plus AE. Yes or no? Right, beta? Now if you add these two quantities, what you are getting? Rp plus Ra is equal to 2A. So A is equal to Rp plus Ra divided by 2. Right? It means the semi-major axis is nothing but arithmetic mean of perigee and apogee distance. So if somebody is giving you perigee distance, apogee distance, means indirectly they are giving you what, beta? Semi-major axis. Understood or not? Okay. Similarly, if you multiply Rp and Ra, see beta what you are getting? A minus AE, A plus AE. So this quantity will be A square minus A square E square. So what is this quantity, beta? B square, right? So it means B is equal to Rp into Ra. It means the semi-minor axis is geometrical mean of apogee distance and perigee distance. So these things these things are going to be very much helpful in solving complex problems, right? So sometimes Rp, Ra indirectly they give, and we require semi-minor axis. So then it is going to be very much useful. Okay, beta? Understood or not? Right. Now, if you see, we have seen that at perigee velocity is maximum, at apogee velocity is what? Minimum, right? And at perigee and already we know angular momentum must remain conserved. Since at perigee velocity is maximum, so we can see that velocity is perpendicular to r vector. So r vector from sun, so that is r vector, say, right? So suppose I am trying to write angular momentum of a planet about sun, that I am writing. So about sun, if I am writing mass of a planet Rp into Vp, yes sir, is equal to what, beta? mass of a planet into that I can write RA into VA. Yes or no? So by conservation of angular momentum. Now RP is A minus AE into VP and RA is A plus EE into VA. So means at perigee and apogee, so ratio of velocity we know it is 1 plus E, 1 minus E. So that is also a very useful relation, right? So if we know velocity at perigee, then we can find velocity at apogee, right? So some of the relations that are very helpful for JEE mains questions, right? So if you know perigee velocity, then directly by knowing the value of E, you can find apogee velocity by angular momentum conservation. Right, beta? Okay. Now, one, beta? It will depend on the type of ellipse, right? So directly or indirectly, they will give you the value, right? Now, dear students. Yes, beta. Again, I will explain. So why work done from P to A is negative, right? So at point, what we know better, that gravitational force is a conservative force. So total energy must remain conserved, right? Okay. So here what we have potential energy and kinetic energy. So here what you see better, potential energy. So potential energy is minus G m1 m2 by r. So here distance is less, magnitude of potential energy is more, but selective quantity means overall less. So means here potential energy is less and here it is more. It means kinetic energy here is less and here it is more, right? Now suppose planet you are taking it as a system. The only force which is doing work on the planet is gravitational force. So if kinetic energy is decreasing, it means work done by gravity must be negative, right? So net work done is equal to change in kinetic energy. Okay, bete? So if kinetic energy from P to A is decreasing, so then work done by gravity must be negative. Similarly, from A to P, if a planet is moving from A to B, then work done by gravity will be positive. So in one complete revolution, it is 0. From apogee to perigee, positive, perigee to apogee equal amount negative. Because change in kinetic energy is what? 0. Right? Now tell me, can there be any two different points in which work done by gravitational force is 0? If initial and starting point means initial and final point are same, then we know work done by gravity is 0. Can there be this initial and final two different points that still work done by gravity 0? Is this possible, beta?
Semi-minor axis के along जो दो points रहेंगे उधर.
Semi-minor
axis के along.
Okay, for these 2 points you are saying, beta?
Yes.
So velocity is the same at these 2 points?
Yeah.
Why?
So angular momentum conserved.
Okay, right.
So distance from the sun is equal for both of them.
Yes, now that is correct. So if distance from sun is the same, means potential energy is the same. If potential energy is same, it means kinetic energy has to be same because total energy is conserved. It means not just these 2 points. For any 2 symmetrical points where distance is same, like these 2 points, any 2 symmetrical points means any 2 points about semi-major axis, symmetrical points about semi-major axis. For all those points, distance from the sun is same, means potential energy is same, means kinetic energy has to be same. It means work done by gravity between these 2 points has to be 0. Yes or no? It's very important point, right? So like there is some point. So you draw a normal line on the semi-major axis and then this point. So these 2 points are basically identical points. So work done by gravity from here to here, this path, or from here to here, this path, has to be 0. Right, beta? So work done by gravity in the movement between any 2 identical points has to be 0. Okay, beta? Right? Okay. So one relation between perigee and apogee distance is this. Right? Now, one more thing we are going to do. What about total energy? Since from the beginning only I am saying total energy must remain conserved. So can we find out that total energy? So what is the total mechanical energy of a planet? So can we find it? So answer is yes, we can find, and it is going to be very important information for solving question. And I know that you will forget it while solving question, but still try to remember. Okay. So total energy. So total energy of a planet I want to calculate. First of all, let me tell you the formula that you have to remember, and then I will derive also. The total energy will be minus G mass of sun, mass of planet divided by A into 2. That you will miss. So this should not miss. G m1 m2 by 2A. So that is total energy of a planet. Right? No exceptional case. So this you should not forget, beta. This I can derive it also for you. No problem. You consider energy of any 2 points. For example, at perigee and apogee, already we know the relation between velocities. We know better. Okay, so at perigee, let's find total mechanical energy at perigee. So at perigee, total mechanical energy will be what, beta? Kinetic energy half into mass of planet into Vp whole square, and potential energy minus G mass of sun, mass of planet divided by what, beta? A. Potential energy, na? G m1 m2 by R. Not A, sorry. A minus AE. So RP basically. So A minus AE. Right, beta? Okay. Similarly, total energy at apogee. So total energy at apogee, what you will get, beta? Half into mass of planet into velocity of apogee square minus G mass of sun, mass of planet, A plus A. Right? Right? Now you better put Vp in terms of VA here. Put Vp in terms of VA here, and then just subtract it. Right? Put Vp in terms of VA here and just subtract it. So what you will get? This expression you will get. Right? How you will get that expression? So first you will get Vp or VA. So if you are putting Vp in terms of VA and you are subtracting it, means this part is 0. So what you are getting, better? VA you are going to get. Right? And then the VA again, if you are substituting back here, then you will get what? Total energy. Or either you can, what you can do, put value of VA in terms of Vp here. Then also what you will get? VA. Right? So you can do it in either way, and by substituting the value back, the value of VA or Vp that you are obtaining, what you will get? Total energy. Okay? So in the night time you can do this calculation. Okay? So total energy you are going to get this, which is a very important information. Sorry. So since you can get a total energy very easily, it means now potential energy is a property of system and the location also, right? So potential energy for any distance, you can write what, beta? Minus G mass of planet, mass of sun divided by R. Means at any distance R, potential energy is this expression. Total energy is this expression. It means kinetic energy at any location also you can find very easily. Right? So it means kinetic energy at any location is minus G ms mp divide minus G ms mp, and then that is potential energy. Okay, so kinetic energy will be what, beta? Total energy minus potential energy, right? Okay, 1 by 2A minus 1 by R. Okay, so that is going to be what? Kinetic energy at any distance. Or if you put negative, you are multiplying inside, so then what you can get? 1 by RA, 1 by 2A. Yes, but understood or not? Total energy minus potential energy will be kinetic energy at any location. Right? Understanding or not? So very important formulas, right? total energy total energy always remain conserved, potential energy at any location, kinetic energy at any location. Yes? So that is all about Kepler's first law, right? So in Kepler's first law, what we can understand, each and every planet revolving in an elliptical orbit. That is one thing. Number 2, relation between perigee and apogee velocity. Number 3, total energy expression. Number 4, potential energy and kinetic energy expression at any different point. Yes or no, beta? Yes, dear students, next point was velocity at end point on the semi-minor axis. So this is also a very important information, right? So at minor axis point here, what is the velocity? So that velocity is V naught. So this velocity V naught we can find, and by that we are going to make a very important point, right? So suppose that is sun here. This length is what, beta? A. This length is A. Kinetic energy expression already I have given, beta. Right? Okay. So now, or simply what we can write, half m into V naught square. That distance is A. It means potential energy here is what, beta? Minus G m small m divided by A. So that is kinetic energy. Potential energy is equal to what? G m small m by 2A. That is what? Total energy. So if you take on the right side, so what you are getting? Half m V naught square is equal to G m small m divided by A. Right? A or 2A? 2A. Right? So m cancel, 2 cancel. So V naught you are getting under root G m by A. Now, why I am giving importance to this relation? Velocity at semi-minor axis point is under root G m by A, right? And when you talk about circular orbits, in next section that I will explain, we'll get orbital velocity as this quantity, under root G m by R, right? So at any point, when velocity is equal to orbital velocity of that location, then that point has to be the end point of semi-minor axis. So now this is what? The orbital velocity, right? So a body which is having this velocity is going to perform circular orbit around any planet or sun, right? So any small object like satellite, okay, anything like that. So if it is having this velocity, it is going to perform what? Circular motion. So this is basically orbital velocity. And what we are getting at semi-minor axis, velocity has to be this. So it is very important. So whenever by chance you are getting this kind of velocity anywhere, and you don't know about the full orbit, so then you can be 100% sure if you have velocity, this velocity at a particular location, that particular location has to be what? End point of semi-minor axis. Right, beta? Very important point. Now by this point, an interesting thing that I said, angular momentum, which is conserved, that also you can find out that what is the constant value of angular momentum. See, at this point, you know velocity is under root Gm by A. So everything is constant, right? So now that is R vector, okay? So R cross V I need to find. So angular momentum about sun, you know, it is always constant for any planet, right? Or for every satellite which is performing elliptical path around planet, same theory is applicable, right? So what is angular momentum, beta? Mass of planet into velocity V naught into B, because B is a perpendicular distance, yes or no? So if you are doing R cross V, so then R V sine theta, so R sine theta, what you will get, beta? B. Okay, so see that is R vector, R cross V, so that is theta angle, right? So that is theta angle. So A sine theta is basically what? B. So it means what we are getting? The expression of angular momentum, which is very important. So a mass of planet into under root gm by a into b. So that is the angular momentum. Very important. Yes or no? So we know total energy is constant. We know its expression minus g capital M small m by 2a. We know total angular momentum is also constant. We got its expression also. Angular momentum expression also we got. Okay, bete? Right? Okay, that was what? Our point number 8. Right? Now point number 9. What is that, beta? So that already I explained that velocity and r vector are normal to each other at perigee and apogee point, right? Yes or no? So other points I will explain later, right? Because before that we need to study second and third law also, right? Okay, so that are all the important points of first law. Now Kepler's second law. Kepler's second law. So that law is what, beta? Law of areas. Law of areas. So what does it mean? That areal velocity of a planet must remain constant, right? Suppose that is sun. So areal velocity means what, beta? When a planet is revolving around sun, suppose that is a planet revolving around sun, so then it sweeps a particular area in a particular time. Suppose that area is A1, that area is A1, and the planet is moving from initial point to this final point, say B. So the area covered is A1 and time taken here is T1. So then A1 by T1, that is aerial velocity. So this aerial velocity must remain constant. So this aerial velocity we can find also very easily. So dA by dt. So that is aerial velocity. Okay. So area covered per unit time. So there are many expressions which gives us the aerial velocity, right? So when we see different types of questions, so different expressions basically they are using. So first common expression is, since I am saying area covered per unit time is the same. So what is the total area of an ellipse?
Pi AB.
Pi AB. So pi AB is total area of ellipse upon, say time period is capital T. So pi AB by capital T. You can write like this. Okay. So that is the first expression of aerial velocity, pi AB upon T. Now next expression. Next expression if you see, so at any point, suppose you are considering, so here is the velocity, so that is velocity, or at apogee point it's very easy to understand. So say this is what, beta? Apogee point, here velocity is VA, suppose. And suppose the planet is covering some dx distance. So dx distance it is covering in dt time. So how much area basically it is covering, because this length is almost perpendicular to this. So that's why I am showing you here. So this area dA I can write what, beta? This length, total length, right? That length is say r. So dA is half into base into height dx. Yes or no? So we can write like this, beta. So this dA is equal to half into r into dx. I can write what, beta? Velocity at this point, v into dt. So dt I can take on the right side. So dA by dt. So dA by dt is basically aerial velocity. It is half into r cross v. R cross v for any other point. For this point, r and v are perpendicular. Just r into v. Now multiply by mass and divide by mass. So what is numerator, beta? dA by dt.
Angular momentum.
Angular momentum. So angular momentum remains constant. Divided by 2 into mass of planet. Right? So from here also we can confirm that aerial velocity is constant. So in terms of angular momentum you can express. In terms of ellipse parameters you can express, right? Now angular momentum also, you know. So what is angular momentum? So it means dA by dt Next expression will be what, beta? L. L was what?
Mass of planet into
Mass of planet into
root over of G
under root gm by a. Mass of sun, right? M into what, beta? B. Divide by 2 into mass of planet. Okay, so it means this aerial velocity just in terms of a, b and mass of planet or mass of sun you can write. So ms means mass of sun. So this also you can write. So that is also aerial velocity. Right, beta? Understood or not? Okay. Right. So that are some expressions of aerial velocity. Right. Now, a very simple question I am going to ask. Right. Very important question. So that is point 1, say, on the end point of semi-minor axis, that is point 2. Right? Okay. So a planet is revolving in clockwise sense. Here is sun. Okay. What so if eccentricity of the planet is what? Orbital motion is E. Eccentricity of ellipse is E. What I want? Time taken from 1 to 2 divided by time taken from 2 to 1. So that I want. Okay. So try this question. The question is clear or not, beta? Again I am explaining. A planet is revolving in an elliptical orbit with sun at one focus. Okay. So these are end points of semi-minor axis. So from 1 to 2, time taken is t12. 2 to 1, time taken is t21. And this ratio I want in terms of what? Eccentricity of the ellipse. Right? So many students might be thinking that answer should be 1. So answer is not 1, beta. Okay? So try this question. Submit. Okay. So beta, what we need to find? So time taken. So time taken we need to find from 1 to 2. Right? So we know aerial velocity is constant. Means area from 1 to 2 divided by time from 1 to 2 is equal to area swept from 2 to 1 upon time taken from 2 to 1. Right? So you might be thinking that these two areas are equal, but areas are not equal. So area swept around sun. So this whole area, right? It is half area of ellipse plus this triangular area. So that is A12. Okay, bete? So T12 upon T21 is equal to A12 upon A21. So A12, so half area of ellipse means pi AB divided by 2 plus, so this triangle area, beta, it will be what? This length is 2B.
into 2B into A.
Yes, very good. And that is what? A. So plus half into 2B multiplied by A. Yes or no? Divide by. Similarly, for this from 2 to 1, so half ellipse area minus this triangular area. That is area swept from 2 to 1 around sun. Yes or no? So area swept around sun. Okay. So pi AB by 2 minus half into 2B into A. So on solving, what you are getting, beta? Pi plus 2E
upon pi minus 2E.
pi minus 2E. Yes or no? Okay. Yes, but understood or not? Samik? Kepler's third law. Kepler's third law. So Kepler's third law means beta law of periods. So means the time period, square of time period of any planet is directly proportional to what, beta? Cube of semi-major axis. So T square is directly proportional to A cube, right? So now you see this expression. One expression is aerial velocity, this expression, and the other is this pi AB by T, right? So aerial velocity we can write pi AB by T, and also we can write this expression, right? So now just make these two things equal. Pi a b divided by t is equal to under root g n multiply by b by, right? Yes or no, beta? Okay. Now what you are getting here, t is equal to pi, now b cancel, beta, b cancel. So pi into a into root a into 2 upon root in g into mass of sum, right? Now squaring both sides. So what you will get, t square is equal to 4 pi square upon g into ms into a cube. So t square directly proportional to a cube. You should know this, and also you should know constant of proportionality. This also you should know, right? So that is our Kepler's third law. Square of time period directly proportional to a cube. So if the orbit is circular, then it is even easier to find this relation, right? So for a circular orbit, so what we know, bete, centrifugal force mv square by r should be balanced by gravitational force, right? So mass of sun or planet, mass of planet or satellite, right? So g mass of sun into m divided by r square is equal to mv square by r, right? So see, beta, as I said, this relation we are getting gm upon r. So that is basically orbital velocity, right? When any satellite or planet is revolving in a circular orbit, then orbital velocity we can find very easily, right? So for circular orbits, understood or not? So these are our 3 Kepler's law. So if orbit is circular, beta, so then how to solve questions? So first of all, point number 1, all Kepler's law are applicable. So that is point number 1, right? So whatever you have learned in Kepler's law, all the relations you can apply. No exceptional case, because a circle is also one type of ellipse with E is equal to 0, right? So when E is 0, then ellipse is also a circle, right? So all Kepler's law are applicable. Number 2, what beta? It's the relation of total energy with potential energy and kinetic energy, right? So an additional relation what we can use here, so which is not valid for elliptical orbit. So that is what, beta? So the relation that you used in atomic structure in chemistry, what was that relation? That total energy of any satellite moving in a circular orbit around planet, total energy is equal to potential energy by 2 is equal to kinetic energy. So obviously potential energy is negative, so better to keep mod sign. Here also mod sign. So that is an additional information, right? So this rule you can always use for any kind of circular motion. For example, right now, let's see how we can write this. So do you remember this relation you are using in atomic structure chapter? Okay. So suppose a body is performing circular motion, but point to be noted, not applicable for elliptical orbits. Not applicable for elliptical orbits, right? So point to be noted. If it is a circular, then we can use this relation, right? Okay. So for example, suppose orbit radius is r, beta, right? Orbit radius is r. So what we have obtained, orbital velocity, just now we have obtained, it is what? Under root g into m divided by r. So that is orbital velocity, right? Okay. So now kinetic energy I can write. So kinetic energy is what? Half into m into V square, right? So that is kinetic energy. So what we can write, half into m into g m upon small r, or kinetic energy is g capital M small m by 2r. So that is kinetic energy, right? Okay, what about potential energy? Potential energy is the property of location of the particles only, right? So potential energy by point mass formula, G mass of planet, mass of satellite, or just capital M small m, because it can be either sun or planet. So that is a bit of potential energy formula, right? Kinetic energy, potential energy, right? So see, so this quantity is double than this in magnitude. Everything else is same. Now total energy is potential energy plus kinetic energy. So what you will get, beta? So this potential energy is substitute here, potential energy and kinetic energy. So what you will get, minus g m small m by 2r. Okay, so that is what total energy. So that is an additional relation that we can use for circular orbits. So whenever any circular orbit is given, first of all, whatever you have learned in Kepler's law, that you can apply. And the second thing, this relation you can use. If any one form of energy is given, means everything is given. So it's like that. Understood, beta? Yes or no? Right. Now, one more physical quantity is associated with all type of orbits, but generally we use in circular orbits. So that is what? Binding energy. Binding energy. Yes, beta. Any idea about binding energy? You have learned in chemistry also.
So the energy required to move an electron from first orbit to any nth orbit.
Okay. See, beta, whenever total energy of a system is negative, it means that system is in a bounded state, right? So if we are talking about a satellite and a planet, by assuming total energy at infinity, potential energy at infinity to be zero. So if we are assuming that convention, that potential energy at infinity is zero, by that convention, if total energy of a satellite is negative, it means it is in a bounded state. See, but total energy what you are getting, negative. It means it is in a bounded state. So if we want to overcome its gravitational pull, we have to make its total energy zero. Like in the expression of escape velocity also I explained. If I want to project a body up to infinity, at infinity, minimum velocity required at infinity should be what? Minimum velocity required at surface, so that it can reach up to infinity is what? Escape velocity. And at infinity, what we were saying, velocity has to be zero, right? So if required velocity is minimum, then velocity at infinity is zero. And potential energy was also zero. So total energy was what, beta? Zero, right? So if we can make a total energy of a satellite or a planet zero, it means that is entering into a non-bounded region. It can overcome the gravitational pull of Earth. Yes or no? A planet can overcome the gravitational pull of Sun if you are making its total energy zero. So whatever total energy a satellite is carrying, if that amount of energy you are giving, then the system can come in non-bounded state. So binding energy is basically energy required. Energy required by a planet to move up to infinity for a planet. For a satellite, same definition. How much energy is required by a satellite so that it can reach up to infinity? The minimum energy required, right? So this binding energy, we can say it is negative of total energy, right? So if any form of energy of a satellite is given to you, so then it means minimum energy required is given to you. If more than minimum energy required you are giving, then in interstellar space, the body will carry some energy. On the basis of that, by energy conservation, you can solve questions. Right, beta? Samit, understood or not?